So I have a lot of Spider-Man cosplays. I have suits ranging from ones from the games, the ones from the movies, and some from the comics that not a lot of people would know about. The question I get asked the most is, Jdawg, where do you get your Spider-Man cosplays? Hold on a sec. Phew. That's what this video is about. What's going on, everybody? Jdawg Cosplay here. Welcome to another YouTube video. And in this video, I'm basically answering the question of where I get all of my Spider-Man cosplays. The process I go through, what little alterations I make, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully this video will answer a lot of questions and maybe help you if you want to get your own Spider-Man cosplay. So let's get started. Alright, first things first, I want to talk about the patterns themselves. Now, for those of you who are new to this, hi, welcome in. Be sure to like the video. So how it works is like how it is for any other article of clothing that's being made. There's a pattern. It's basically what the suit will look like spread out as a 2D image, where all the lines are, where the suit will be cut, sewn, and printed out. Like this. Like as you can see right here, there are little seams on the forearm. That is basically so the people making the suit know where to sew it. Now, all websites that sell Spider-Man cosplays will already have a pre-selection of suits already, with a large variety, so you'll have a lot of stuff to pick and choose from. So 90% of the time, you won't have to buy a pattern beforehand, and they're always updating their selections. So if you want to wait and see if you could get a suit that they'll add later, you can do that, or if you really want the suit, you can buy the pattern from an external website and upload it to the website that makes the suits and have it that way. For the three main pattern websites that I've used to, make these suits are Gunhead Design, Web Warriors Workshop, and Cyan Man Designs over on Instagram. I'll be sure to put all the links for everything in the description in order. So when you buy the pattern from the website, they will email you a link where you can go to the custom suit selection of the cosplay website. There will be a bar for you to copy and paste the link to it. It's usually a Google Drive for like 90% of them. And that's how you can get a suit that's not yet available on the shop's website. But Jdawg, I know some of you may be wondering, what if they don't have the pattern I'm looking for, or I want my own design? That's a good question. Some pattern shops offer the option for commissioning a custom pattern. The process will vary depending on the shop and how many commissions they have, their runtime, how many people are working on it, and of course, how complex you want to make your Spider-Man cosplay. For example, I wanted a battle-damaged anti-Ock suit for Marvel Spider-Man. So I screenshotted a bunch of images at different angles and sent them to Cyan Man Designs. Sometimes you will need to follow up on what specific things you want for the suit, but as long as you're very specific on what you're looking for, it'll make the person making the pattern, it'll make their job a lot easier. If you want to make your own custom Spider-Man design, it's very important to have reference images, just in case the image you create, if you want to make like your own rough concept, isn't super clear. For example, with my most recent custom suit, it was basically a hodgepodge of a bunch of different designs that I liked from Spider-Man costumes, all put together into one suit. The front logo was from the new Ultimate Spider-Man, the back logo is from the older Ultimate Spider-Man run, the colors are from the Advanced 2.0 suit alternate design, the webs are from Peter B. Parker's Spider-Verse look, basically like that. Just having clear reference images is always good. And to make it easier on the person making the pattern, don't overcomplicate it. Think of it like this. Imagine you're the spider person making this suit, like you're sewing it yourself. When you want a more simplistic design, instead of like too many panels, or just basically how a lot of MCU suits are made nowadays. Anyways, let's move on to lenses. So now we have the lenses. This is basically what you're going to be seeing out of when you have the full cosplay. When you're buying the suit, there will be an option to have the lenses attached on the mask. For cosplay websites that have a large variety of lenses, there's an option at the bottom for you can fill out the extra details on the suit if you want a very specific one. If there is, you could put, like in the little description, for the lenses, I would like these ones, and just put the link that's on the same website or just the name. But if they don't have the lenses that you're looking for, or you want a more smooth look for the mask, you can get a face shell with magnetic lenses. What a face shell is, it's basically just something that covers your whole face, and there's little magnets in the holes where the eyes go in. But it's pretty simple. Usually they could be made from foam or a 3D print. This creates a more rounded and smooth look for the mask, like what they have a lot of the actors doing in the movies. So if you're worried about like a long nose, an overbite, underbite, or whatever may get in the way of the mask looking more clean, it might be a good way of saying it, more smooth, you can always have a face shell. Let me show you what a mask looks like with and without one. So this is basically what a lenses attached to the mask suit looks like. As you can see, like, it fits my head pretty well. It does the job. Obviously this is a different pattern, it's from a different suit. As you can see right here, my nose kind of protrudes a little bit out, and the lenses don't look 100% even, so it needs like constantly adjusting. So yeah, that's basically what a mask will look like with the lenses attached. It's a lot easier to take on and off, and usually it's a little more comfortable, but here's what it looks like with a face shell. With the face shell, it has a lot more of a rounded look, and it just looks more like this is the head of a comic book character. And the eyes are magnetic, so if you really need to breathe, because it can get kind of stuffy in a mask regardless if there's a face shell or not, you could just pop one of these out and just, you know, have a little bit of breathing room. Though it is a bit more stuffy in here than it is in a regular mask. But regardless, you're going to be dealing with mask head. That's basically bed head, but with the mask instead of, you know, bed. There is usually also an option to have the lenses attached to the mask and just a separate face shell, so you don't have to worry about the lenses accidentally falling out. So let me show you the 3 shops on where I get my Spider-Man face shells. The first one is the RPC Studio. Now I'll talk about their suits a little later on, but right now we're talking about this. This is actually from the RPC Studio. It is their Into the Spider-Verse style. I very much liked the kind of rounder shape of the eyes, so I went with this one. Their face shells are made from EVA high pressure with a strip of foam around the forehead with a section of about 3 sizes, which you would need to measure the circumference of your head to match up with. They are a lot more pricey than some of the other ones, ranging at a little over $200 US. But an upside to face shells in general is that they can be used for other masks and other cosplays, not just the ones you have for a very specific one. Unless it's like for a symbiote cosplay, because that's going to be very different than, you know, the classic red and black design. Another example being for my most recent custom suit. I use not only this one, but that one right behind me, which is actually the next one I want to talk about. This face shell is from Pablo Props over on Etsy. They also have a large selection of Spider-Man face shells, and it's a little bit cheaper than RPC's. The material is 3D printed, so it's a lot more sturdy than the more foam one. When you buy one, you do have to message them the circumference of your head, so it's always important to get it as accurate as possible. There aren't any foam parts pre-installed like the RPC face shell, but they always send some to install yourself. The last shop I want to talk about is also on Etsy, and that's, I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I'll just put the name right here, Editor Jdawg, if you want to just put a little subtitle there. So not only do they have a large variety of Spider-Man face shells, but they also have a Daredevil cowl, a lot of Power Ranger helmets, and a lot more stuff. The shell is a hard plastics feel and it's very resilient. And the lenses on this one for my Amazing Spider-Man are mirrored, so there isn't as much ventilation as there is for the other ones. So you're going to be taking this off a lot more than the other ones because, again, it does get very stuffy in these. There are a bunch of other shops over on Etsy, but I don't have experience with them, so I can't really give my opinion on them. Gamer subs. No code yet. Now, with those out of the way, let's talk about the real meat of this video, the main event, where I get the cosplays specifically, and how I design them. So when I buy my suits, I always go for the custom made because I have a very specific body type. I'm 6'2", ranging at about 165 pounds. And obviously, since our weight fluctuates throughout the day, it's always good to add a little extra inch to the stuff you're measuring because we're not constantly this specific body type 24/7, especially if you're on a bulk or you're on a cut. It's a little important to have some variation in your suit sizing. That way you don't have the suit for like a month, then your body changes a little bit and then the suit becomes unusable. It's always important to have someone else to help you when you're making the measurements for your costume, because a lot of the times you'll be off by an inch or more. And it's always good to double check, because if you don't, the suit's either going to be too tight or it's going to be too loose, and that's never good. So when you get your measurements down, you'll have a select of custom options. Usually the first one is the difference between soles and kung fu shoes. So let me show you the difference. This is my Amazing Spider-Man suit, and this has soles on it. As you can tell, it's only the bottom part of the shoe that's attached to the suit. And for Kung Fu shoes, it is a suit that has the shoes sewn in and glued in, and it's pretty simple to put on. All you gotta do is just slide your foot in. Now normally I go with Kung Fu shoes because they're a bit more comfortable, even though they are a little bit more difficult to put on, especially if it's a newer suit because it hasn't become accustomed to your feet. After that, there's a lot of extra options, but the ones I go for is a detached mask, forearm zippers, straight back zippers, and open eyes. A detached mask is very self-explanatory. When the suit is being sewn and the patterns, they usually have the mask attached to the neck of the suit itself. So it's all one thing. It does provide a more cleaner look, but especially if you have a face shell, it is a little more annoying to take off. So usually a company will have the option to detach the mask right here. They will also have an option to have a zipper right here on the back, but I prefer to have the no zipper because it gets caught in my hair. Now for open eyes, just as mentioned before, when the suit is being sewn, it doesn't have the no eyes feature a part of the pattern itself. And obviously it will make this suit a lot easier to see out of when you have the open eyes feature, because otherwise you'll just be seeing through fabric. Now, forearm zippers are an absolute must for almost any kind of cosplay, especially since in this age a lot of us are going to be on our phones, using our phones, or when we're eating greasy food that are at conventions, we don't want to get our hands super dirty. So all you gotta do is just unzip, and with that you don't have to worry about greasy hands and you're able to text freely. Now there are two variations of zippers for the back of the suit. There are straight zippers and U-zippers. For a U-zipper, the suit will look like this. I normally get straight zippers, but depending on the back logo, it does help to get a different type of zipper, even though it is a little more annoying. Because like you see right here, the zipper is attached very closely to the armpit. The upside for that is you don't have to be reaching for your back to get that exact spot for the straight zipper. So it really comes down to what you're personally more comfortable with. And again, this is like my experience. This isn't like you need to do it like this, A, B, and C, this is what you do. This is basically what I do. And this is what a suit looks like with the back zipper being straight. As you can see, it's not as noticeable on the logo, but again, it is a little more annoying because you gotta reach for it, especially if you're doing it by yourself. Now, the three main cosplay websites for Spider-Man is Heroes Time, Print Costume, and RPC Studio. Now, I don't have any suits from Heroes Time yet, but I have a lot of cosplay friends who've gotten suits from them, and they're all satisfied with their purchase, so take that as you will. But Print Costume is my main source of where I get my suits. They're very affordable, averaging me about $140 plus shipping for the whole suit. And it takes about a month for the suit to be manufactured and delivered. And then we have the RPC Studio. Now RPC is where I got my suits previously, and for a while they did no wrong. until 2020, where I got a suit for the advanced suit, but it had more of a comic book look to it. I sent it to RPC with the exact specifications to not dull down the pattern. And what did they do? They muddied the red so it just looked more muddy brown, and for some reason they sewed the neck too long and the mask too short. So the mask was like, it covered barely to here, and the neck was like all the way up to here. And the suit was too tight, the shoes were too tight, it was just, it wasn't good. And I eventually got a replacement suit for that. It wasn't as bad, but it had its own malfunctions, as you could say. Not to mention that the suits are very expensive, costing over $300 for a suit. So if you're on a budget and you don't want to risk everything, maybe go for a print costume or Heroes time. Although I will say, RPC does have a great selection of face shells, so that is definitely something I would recommend for that. Alright, so now you've got your cosplay, what do you wear underneath it? Because conventions can be a little bit chilly if they've got really good AC. Or sometimes conventions will be during a colder season. So what's really important is having compression shirt and compression pants underneath the suit, and a dance belt, or some variation of that. Now what a dance belt does is that it covers a more, your private area, let's say, because these things are very thin. If I were to stand up now, this video would probably get demonetized, and maybe even a copyright strike. So what's very important is finding some extra layer of covering to cover that, because nobody wants to see it. No one. And for my lady Spidey cosplayers, I think just from what I have heard, simple sports bra, that kind of stuff, just simple stuff that keeps you well insulated. I don't have a lot of experience in this area, so that one you might have to Google. But yeah, it's always important to make sure that what shouldn't be seen. Now, finally, we've got accessories. This is mainly for web shooters if you want a little extra detail for your cosplays. Now, there are two shops on Etsy that have a great selection of web shooters. Spider Freak Customs and Art Christs. Basically, editor Jdawg just put their names right here again. Spider Freak has mainly the web shooters from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, the Insomniac games, and a set from Spider-Man Homecoming. I personally have both their Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Insomniac Spider-Man cosplays. So this is how you basically put them on. So the web shooters will have this little wristband with these two magnets placed in. All you gotta do, put it on your wrist, like so, and make sure that the magnets are right here on the inside of your arm. Then all you do is just pop it on like that, and there you go. You now have web shooters on your suit. Now, I personally don't own any web shooters from Art Christs, but I do have their Omnitrix from Alien Force and Omniverse, and their Ultimatrix, so I can recommend this shop for having very high quality products. RPC Studio does also have web shooters, but they're only the ones from Spider-Man Homecoming and the Disney Parks Avengers Campus style suit. And basically how you put these ones on is there's a little magnet right here, we'll kind of latch it on, and you lock it in like that, and it's a nice snug fit. It is important to get an accurate wrist circumference design on that, because I got these when I was a lot thinner, so they're a little tighter, but they still work. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Hopefully this video was educational for you in some way, shape, or form. Be sure to comment down below your thoughts and any other questions you might have, and I could make a part 2 to this video if you guys would be interested. Be sure to follow me on all my other social media platforms, sure to like and subscribe to this video and this channel, and be sure to use my creator code at the Fortnite item shop. Alright, I'll see y'all later. Peace out.